Welcome to SEC Football Live here on the Full 40 Sports Network, brought to you by ML Rose. Wing Wars 2025. I got an update for you on that one. That is Trey Wallace of Outkick. I am Braden Gall. Trey, good to see you, sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It was a crazy 5-day stretch from Thursday to whatever that was in Chapel Hill Monday night. And then finally taking a deep breath and then getting prepared for the upcoming weekend. So, it was 2 a.m. mornings. I mean, every day, morning. You know.
Overreact. We have to overreact. And look, that's where we're going to get started, of course, is how much should you react? Not over or under, but just what is the appropriate amount of react to week one, which generally is a liar, but also can tell you a lot. And we're in the, Trey, we're in the data collection business right now the first few weeks.
Yes.
Some teams we've acquired very good data on, and some teams we've acquired incomplete data on. And some teams, the data we got is alarming.
We got problems. We got problems.
We'll get to Alabama's offensive line. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So lots of stuff to do today. Of course, we'll look ahead. Kentucky Ole Miss is sneaky good in week number 2. Obviously, the big one, Michigan as well. You got Vanderbilt, Michigan, Oklahoma. You got Vanderbilt, of course, against Virginia Tech, and which I think is a very big game for Vanderbilt. So
Commodores win. Keep going.
And look, Commodores, we're going to have to talk about the Commodores. In fact, let's start right there.
Okay.
So ML Rose, of course, is our great and amazing, wonderful local sponsor. We are doing an SEC Wing War this season. Every Saturday, there's a super awesome wing special. So you can buy 16, get 8 free. It's a great deal. The wings are fantastic at all 7 locations in Middle Tennessee. And what you do is you just say to your server, they go, well, what's your favorite SEC team? Texas A&M, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama. And we left... me and my wife and kids and the crew, we had softball games all morning, and so then we went and grabbed lunch afterward, and we're watching ball, and I leave after the sort of like the Alabama-Florida State debacle.
Yeah.
And we leave, and I'd been talking to some folks at the bar who are wearing Vanderbilt hats, and I look over at the leaderboard when I leave, and it's like number 4 Georgia, number 3 Alabama, number 2 Tennessee, to be expected.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Number 1 Vanderbilt over like 150 wings in like the first 8 hours of the whole thing, or 6 hours of the thing. And they were at the bar fired up. They're like, give us some wit, like, let's go Doors. They were just out watching college football at a bar, and it wasn't their team's game. Vanderbilt was playing later that night. And I was like, you guys are acting like a regular college football fan base. You know that, right? You're eating wings, drinking beer, watching other teams. What are you guys doing?
Something's different here. Like, this doesn't line up. What's happening? But I'm telling you, man, like, Vanderbilt fans are stoked. Like, I saw pictures from the game, and I saw videos from the game on Saturday, the Vanderbilt game, and there were 35,000 people there. I was like, okay.
Now they were selling family pack tickets for like $25 total.
Well, who wasn't? I mean, South Carolina and other schools are selling Costco tickets. So I mean, like who wasn't doing that type of thing? But like I was happy. I was very, very happy for the Vanderbilt folks, especially with like the end zones. They're so darn nice. Like, I covered the Texas and the Tennessee game there last year, and like I could tell like that was going to be a badass facility. So props to them.
The stadium's very cool.
I would imagine a lot of them too. Like, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I imagine there would be probably 4,000 Vanderbilt fans making the trip to Virginia Tech.
I would think so. It's a great. First of all, I took that college trip actually when I was looking into colleges, and it's about 5 hours from Nashville. It's not bad. It's a gorgeous place to go visit. There's not a lot happening there for a long visit, but it's kind of like Auburn, honestly. Like, it feels kind of like Auburn. The campus is very unique, like this limestone, sort of this silver and white limestone buildings. Very pretty campus in the mountains of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Like, it's going to be a place to go watch a game. So if I'm a Vanderbilt fan, I'm going. If I'm a Vanderbilt fan,
well, yeah, it's 7:30 as well. So like, why not? Like a night game at Lane Stadium, like, it's going to be pretty hype. And
it's gonna
Diego probably bringing like 20 family members with him. Yeah. Hopefully they, stay out of trouble.
You say hype, I say turnt. That's the same thing.
Getting turned. Yeah, that's what it is,
man.
Yeah.
Well, unlike Avery Johnson, maybe Diego Pavia's family will not fight in the streets of the game while the game is happening inside the stadium. So lots of stuff to get to. And I want to say, you were in Columbus. for the Texas game. And we can start with kind of a package deal of LSU's performance and Texas's performance. I thought it would be flipped. I thought Texas would play well on the road. Not as we said on the show, I didn't think it was going to be Arch's. If they win, it wouldn't be because of Arch.
Correct.
They didn't win, and it wasn't because of Arch.
No.
LSU, the opposite. I thought they were going to have a tougher uphill battle. They end up playing very, very well. I don't think I've changed my opinion on either of those two teams or Ohio State or Clemson for that matter. I saw 4 top 10 teams.
Yeah,
I might move LSU up a few spots in my rankings, move Texas down a few spots. Ohio State's pretty good. I thought Texas offensive and defensive lines were excellent. I thought the defense was excellent. This is how much is this me apologizing for Arch saying this is an extraordinarily difficult environment on the road against the defending national champs on Lee Corso Day?
Yeah,
against the best safety and linebacker maybe in the entire country.
Right.
And frankly, he was erratic. He missed a bunch of easy throws over the middle. And I don't think his play caller, the head coach Sarkisian, did him any favors in the red zone.
No.
It's a growing trend. Like how much is this like just a regular thing that happens in college football, and how much of this is something you actually need to be worried about?
I think a lot of it's not like, okay, I can't speak for everybody else, but it's not like I was trying to like hype Arch up before the game. He even set expectations. We talked about this at SEC Media Days. He's like, why am I on these lists, these preseason lists? I haven't done anything yet. So what I'm getting, like, it was a mixed bag. Like the second half, he comes out and completes some nice passes. The first half, he was just thrown off. Matt Patricia's defense was bringing everything at him. They were disguising in the backfield and the secondary backfield, and then they bring the corner blitz, and he's bringing 7. On first down. And there were times where Arch was in the pocket and he's sidearming passes, and you could tell he was not connecting down the field. But to me, it's like, it's one game. And I know that's easy to say for other folks. Like, we won't say that for Alabama later when we discuss it. But like, I see Texas still as a college football playoff team. Like, that defense was really good. But then when you get to Arch, it's like,
They were an underdog, and they lost by 1 score on the road to the defending national champions. Being a 14-point favorite on the road against a 2-10 team from last year and getting obliterated is different.
Well, and also, like, look, Texas had their moments right there towards the end of the game, too. They could have gone down and tied the game up. Like, that's all you want. You want to be in the game at the near end of the fourth quarter. So, I think that these are growing moments for Texas. Texas is only going to get better as the season goes, Braden. Like, because that Ohio State defense was ferocious. And so, legit. Like, I give him a lot of credit, man. And Julian Sayin, at quarterback for Ohio State, he connected on some great balls. When Jeremiah Smith was locked down, Carnell Tate was open, or they were getting the ball to him in any way. So I think that you're spot on. I think that, sure, you can drop a couple teams kind of in your own rankings if you want, but at the same time, like, those are 4 teams that come November 1st or the middle of October, whatever it is, the CFP rankings come out, that those are going to be in the top 8, in my opinion, and fighting for a spot.
And the things you saw that were good, which is line of scrimmage, defense, and running the football.
Yes.
Like San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston State are all going to be like that. That's good enough to dominate those 3 teams. And so they're going to be 3-1 going to Florida on the road. And that will be, all right, let's see what you've learned, Arch. And if he hasn't learned anything and he's misfiring on 8-yard wide open receivers on crossing routes, then we'll be like, okay, maybe we need to think about this. But if he starts hitting all those throws and hitting all, I honestly, I think they should have like ran him right into like Sonny Styles on the first drive. Yeah. Like, just go run into somebody, dude. Like, just go hit somebody, get up and act like a lunatic, and then loosen the hell up.
Well, Sarkisian said that post game too. He was like, I probably should have ran him a little bit more in the first half and let him take a hit. And then I guess something just wakes up in the Arch, but
everybody, you hit somebody. What happens is you go in there and you got nerves and anxiety, and that's just normal. You hit somebody and like all that stuff goes away because you're like, oh, we're playing ball now, baby. Like,
right, absolutely. And I don't think the play calling helped either. I mean, I'm trying to remember the timestamp on it, but it was 4th and 1 from the Ohio State 2-yard line, and they ran the QB sneak, and it's like, okay, like you can try the tush push, but you could have just handed the ball off, try to get it there. You can do a fake and go to the end zone. So I don't think Sarkisian helped him out in a couple of situations as well.
That's a growing trend around the goal line too. Like for Sarkisian, like he's got to figure that out in big games. So obviously last year against Ohio State, not going to Arch, ironically, but so we'll see. All right, so I just don't think people need to react too much to Texas. I think LSU, same kind of thing. Really impressive performance. Apparently one that Dabo Swinney did not watch in the second half.
What is it, a 58, 65, like grades? Like, what are we doing here? Like, how are we coming up with these numbers? I don't understand. Like,
Dabo's just so Dabo, and I appreciate Brian Kelly actually being in the position to sort of be the snarky asshole, which he is, but he doesn't normally deserve to be.
Right.
And now he actually deserves to be.
Well, it was like the coin was flipped. It's like him being that person compared to having defended or put out in some cringy stuff every now and then.
Such a sore loser kind of comment from Dabo, which is honestly kind of on brand for Dabo.
I mean, it got him. Look, it got him when LSU ran a bunch formation to the right, for that last touchdown, and you got single wide out, single coverage on the bottom, and Garrett Nussmeier just tosses it up. Like
didn't they also run 3 plays in a row one time?
Yes,
where they ran the bunch formation, but on the short side of the field, and like Clemson just refused to adjust.
I know.
And they just like kept running.
And it's like you go back and watch the tape, you're like, oh shit, I did that. Okay, my fault. I allowed that to go down. Like LSU deserves a lot of credit for what they did and going there and winning that game. But there's a reason why Dabo Swinney was grading himself at that and then trying to throw a little bit of shade toward, he could have given him a 73. Give him a 73. Give him a C.
Why a 68? Yeah,
right. Why a D? Give him a C.
Well, you can't give him a 69 because everyone's going to think it's a joke.
Right.
And then,
nice.
So you have to go back down to 68. Anyway. Dabo's kind of a caricature at this point. I was really kind of like the one-dimensional nature of Clemson's offense in the second half. A lot of that is to LSU's credit. All the portal moves seem to have worked. It is just one game, but it's hard not to call it real when you're playing on the road against Clemson. And so Clemson does look like a top of the second tier type of team. And I thought they were maybe on the top tier. And I had LSU as sort of the top of the second tier. And now I'm moving them to the top tier. But I don't think there's a difference between, 1, 2, 3 and like 6, 7, 8. There's other teams around the country that we don't know if they're in that group. Notre Dame, for example. Yes. I would have had Alabama in that group, but now they might be out of that group. So there's a lot of information left to go. But I thought
Notre Dame's got to figure out why the hell they didn't get the ball to Jeremiah Love in that game more than 13 times. And at the same time, we'll find out about LSU in 2 weeks when the Florida Gators come to town.
Florida's schedule is gross.
I know it's all going to even out.
So I think, look, Garrett Nussmeier looked completely in control. And if you look at all the first-round quarterbacks that we have talked about, Lenora Sellers and Arch Manning and Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier, and there's a bunch of other ones like
Josh Hoover,
Sam Levitt at Arizona State. Like, it's a bunch of them. I mean, Nussmeier was the best in week 1. He put the best tape out there for the NFL scouts in week 1. Anderson was awesome. He is such a fun player to watch. And if their defense is as good as it looked in that game, again, Clemson has some deficiencies at running the football, but that's going to be the difference. I don't think we had any issues coming into the season about the offense. No. Maybe the offensive line, but they held up very well. And so they just pressured Klubnik the whole time. And if they can do that, that's a dangerous LSU team from a national championship standpoint, which I don't necessarily think I had them on that level yet.
Yeah, I mean, but they were forcing Cade outside the pocket numerous times, making him have passes on the run, and you look at what LSU's defense was able to accomplish. It's like, okay, like we kind of expected this in a sense, but I think the Garrett Nussmeier situation where he looked comfortable in the pocket too, and especially with a wide receiver group and that offensive line and them still trying to grow, but they got the recipe, Braden.
Yeah,
to be a national championship squad. Now you got to back it up. Like, that's the thing. Like, you got the monkey off your back with the season opener losses and whatnot and the losing streak at that point. But I think at the same time, I mean, they're obviously there's room, and we'll see what their defense looks like when they play Lagway in Florida.
And now they can go 6-2 in the conference and still almost guarantee themselves a spot in the playoff.
Right.
So, huge outcome for sure.
And just pray that Clemson continues this uptick. So that, and by the way, that win's going to look good either way.
Yep.
The new metrics and whatnot, like, you're good. Like that,
and it should have looked better with the touchdown that was taken away also. So
I don't know what the hell they were doing with that one. I didn't get that. I thought it was a touchdown. Like, whatever.
You and me and everybody else in the world.
I know.
So I think LSU, if you want to go move LSU, I think I had them like in that 7, 8, 9 range. If you want to move them to like 1, 2, 3, 4, that ballpark, I don't have a problem with that. I think Ohio State and Texas belong on the top tier still. If you want to drop Clemson a few spots, like that's fine, but just react appropriately. Don't overreact too much. LSU's not winning the national championship, and Arch is not going undrafted. So let's just chill.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's a bunch of stuff. Auburn, Tennessee, Joey Aguilar, like a lot of teams, Oklahoma, John Mateer, a lot of teams that we can react to, and namely the Alabama offensive line. And look, here's the thing. I love the Gus Malzahn hire for all offseason long. Yeah. He doesn't have to recruit. He can just game plan. And this is not like Gus Malzahn has been doing this to Nick Saban Bama teams. So it shouldn't be a surprise that he was able to game plan against a Kalen DeBoer Bama team. The issue here is not that they lost. The issue here is not that Gus Malzahn was good and Thomas Castellanos ran around, which we said was going to be a challenge.
Yes.
Turns out it was a bigger challenge than we thought.
Yeah.
The issue here was a Florida State defensive line eating the entire day against 3 or 4 NFL prospects on a Bama offensive line that was supposed to be among the best in the country. And Ty Simpson, I don't even know if he was good or not. He was fine, but like he wasn't really given a chance. And if you are Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb and Ty Simpson, and you have Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard, and you have all these NFL pieces, you have to do better than that. That's the problem.
They didn't stretch down the field. It was like the football gods are messing with them, and all of a sudden that downpour happened, in the second quarter when they were trying to drive. They've got Florida State's defensive line punished them so much in that game. Alabama's offensive line just never responded.
It was wild.
It's like they threw in the white towel, and I couldn't understand it because I'm sitting there and I'm seeing them get just destroyed. And then at the Ty Simpson's running for his life in the backfield. They never adjusted. Like that's the most, to me, it's that's the fascinating part. They never adjusted. And I agree with you about Ty Simpson. I can't judge Ty Simpson yet. Like that's still up in the air. Like I'm not gonna be able to judge him against the Warhawks of ULM or Wisconsin. Sorry, Luke Fickell and all the fans out there. Sorry, it's not gonna until they get in the SEC. Until they play Georgia. I think that's when we can judge again with Ty Simpson. But it was fascinating because the whole game, Florida State was just kicking their ass. And Alabama.
They never responded. Never responded.
And one touchdown doesn't do it for me either. Like, I'm sorry, man. Okay, yeah. You got a touchdown right there. You think you responded?
I was looking at it going like, Trey, I was like, man, I don't think I've ever remembered looking at a Bama team down by multiple scores and not thinking they have any chance to come back. Like anytime you ever see a team at Alabama down, you're like, they're going to make it's like watching like a 1 seed versus a 12 seed in basketball.
Yeah.
Like, the team's going to make a run. You just don't know if it's going to be good enough to win.
Yes.
And every time I watch Bama for the last 15 years, they're down, you expect them to do something. And I was watching them going like, I don't think they're going to make a run. And they kind of did to some degree, but like it never got close. And then I love going for it on 4th down. That was like a theme kind of across college football in the first weekend and second weekend. Like just go for it on 4. If you got the game in your hands and it's 4th and 2, just go for the win. And I appreciate Mike Norvell doing that.
But they never responded when they were just kicked straight into the lower region, like right in the balls. Like they were just. And the most interesting part too is I was breaking down film with somebody. For a podcast I was doing, and pointed it out to me that even when Gus was calling the RPOs, you could tell Alabama's defense was lined up in the wrong way. Like they weren't protecting gaps, or they weren't, they weren't getting Castellanos out on the corner. You remember that touchdown run? He RPO'd it, got to the corner, got right in the end zone. It's everything looked fundamentally off about Alabama, and I'm sitting there like, you guys are getting embarrassed. And you can't do anything to stop it. And to me, and everybody talks about effort and whatnot and all these plays and the secondary not running hard enough and everything. Like, okay, that's fine. We can break that down. But the biggest thing to me is it seemed like the coaching staff was just as lost as the players were.
And so that's what's interesting to me is if you're Kalen DeBoer in like a moment of privacy, it's like you and Ryan Grubb sitting around and Kane Womack, who, by the way, also a good coach. These guys have been good. These guys have been very good coaches everywhere they've ever been.
Yes.
And that's what I'm wondering, because Bama's 5-5 in the last 10. Very famous stat, of course, now with Kalen DeBoer. He has been successful with his principles and ideology and philosophy everywhere he's gone. Indiana coordinator, Fresno State, national championship game with Washington. Now he has better players than he's ever had before. And so what I'm wondering is, like, is this just like, I know this, everybody outside of the SEC doesn't want to hear this, but it feels like the level of competition is so much different in the SEC that the same things that work for you at Fresno and Indiana and Washington may not work in the SEC. And I'm wondering, if you're Kalen DeBoer and you've had this philosophy your whole life and your whole career, and it's led to nothing but success, how do you then take that thing that's been so good to you and try to, and not scrap it, but like try to make adjustments off of it and break from what you have known is successful to find something new? And I don't know if he has those answers right now. And that is the concern if I'm a band. Not that, like, I don't care. Oh, hot seat, he should get fired, $75 million. Like, I don't care about that yet.
Right.
It's like, do you have answers to apply to this situation? Because if you don't, then you do deserve to be in the conversation with the hot seat.
Well, by the way, he brought in Ryan Grubb to handle these situations like that. Like, he didn't get his buddy the first year because Seattle Seahawks offered him.
Right.
And then he came open his second year, brought him in. Okay, here we go. Like, we're going to revive this thing about it. And you look at it, and you look at the offense, and you, even in the second half, they didn't adjust to what Florida State was doing. So my biggest thing now is, okay, did you learn anything from this? Like, are we going to see any? If ULM gets up 7-0 or 14-7 on Saturday, not saying it's going to happen.
Bama and Texas will rebound fine against San Jose State.
Yes, absolutely, they will. And sure, Wisconsin will put up a fight on defense, in my opinion, but they won't be able to score on offense. I know that's putting it out there, but I'm just trying to give Wisconsin a little bit of credit here.
All right,
but I don't feel like there is. Camaraderie is probably not the right word to use in this situation, but it just felt like there were multiple different game plans going on the sideline, and they were just doing this thing on the fly, and it just felt out of control. So Alabama, in my opinion, like the folks in Tuscaloosa, you know how they are. Like, I grew up in that state, okay? I know all about that crazy ass fandom, and I promise you, I took time to listen to call-in shows on Monday and Tuesday. Yeah.
My guy Legend, apparently, because I fill in and host Feinbaum a bunch, and my Legend's always good to me. And so I was listening to him, and I was tweeting at him, and he dominated on Feinbaum yesterday.
Yeah, he did. And they're freaking out, but it's not just them, it's the boosters as well. It's the folks that,
of course,
are putting in the money, and they're like, okay,
what is it, 79 million? It's more than Jimbo, right now?
I think it's 68 to 71, somewhere right in between there, because he's owed 90% of his deal.
That's Jimbo Fisher territory.
Right, but here's the thing. Like, I have no doubt in my mind they could come up with half of it if they need it within 60 days. Like, the same way that I feel like if Kentucky wanted to make a move, they could come up with it, but they're not going to. Alabama will. And so I think that, and I was talking about Mark Stoops' buyout, which is like 37. But I think that right now you've got fans and boosters that are so freaked out that they're about to get left behind in college football that they're starting to hit that panic button after the first game.
It's not always the right thing to do, but I know why they're doing it, because if he doesn't show the ability to adjust, that's the problem.
Yes. And I think that the heat is only going to rise until he wins a big game. And is that big game against Georgia? I don't know. We'll find out.
You want to know what makes it all better? Auburn looking real good.
Oh, boy.
My Tigers, by the way, my Tigers. Here's the thing that struck me. Here's the thing that struck me coming out of that game. Like, first of all, Jackson Arnold looked great. Defensive Keldrick Falk looked good. Like, that Baylor's a good football team. I think that's a really good win. So I think that's
a good defense. Yeah. Like,
I think it's a better win than people realize nationally. I think that's a good. I think Baylor's going to be. I think Baylor stomps SMU this weekend. By the way,
yes.
So like, I think Baylor is going to be a contender in the Big 12. I think that's a good road win, week 1, new pieces, etc. Here's the thing that I left that, because they didn't use Coleman and Singleton much.
No.
Here's what's interesting to me: they will impact the game for Jackson Arnold without catching a single pass, and that is so obvious stuff. I know it. But if you put Coleman and Singleton on the outside and you take them down the field, you run them on deep digs, you put them in combo routes on the same side, they are going to have to use every defense is going to have to, unless you've got lockdown cover corners that you can roll up on 2 man-to-man situations, maybe. But otherwise, you're going to have to give them safety help. You're going to have to play zone. You're going to have to play 2 high safeties. You're going to have to do something to match up with those guys. And now Jackson Arnold also at some point will have to make the throws.
Yeah.
But for most of their schedule, I don't think he even has to actually make the throws to those two guys, because they are going to terrify people into backing off the line of scrimmage. And what happens when you back off the line of scrimmage? Jackson Arnold will run through you. So I think it's a really fascinating combination of pieces. Really good offensive line, good defensive line, great receivers. All the stuff we thought was true for Auburn, and then a little bit more. And I'm telling you guys, the schedule, if they got two big ones on the road, I think, against Oklahoma and A&M.
Yep.
And then they got the two big ones at home, Georgia and Alabama at the end, obviously. But and Alabama looks like that's a game they can easily win. I'm just telling you, I was going out of my mind saying 9 or 10 wins potentially this year, and I think that's possibility.
I don't think you're. Is
that overreacting?
No, it's not. It's not, because you look at the rest of the schedule and you look at the other teams in the SEC and you look at the competition. And I think at the same time, you were right. When opposing defenses are not going to be able to bring 7 or 8, because you can't. It's the same thing that I saw with Texas trying to play Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate this past weekend. It's the same thing. You're opening it up for the middle of the field. And so now Auburn sits in a situation where, Hugh Freeze is like, okay, all right, here we go. I just got to line my studs up out there and see what the defense, how many are they going to get the little, ballsy every now and then and try to bring stuff? Okay, cool. That's fine. I got one-on-one on the outside. What I'm getting at is, I think this sets up really well for Auburn. I don't want to go out on the limb and say this is a playoff team right now.
I'm not saying that either.
Right. I know that. But at the same time, this does open up a lane for Auburn to kind of make a run and turn some heads. And I think with the offense, the way Jackson looked, I know it's one game and we shouldn't overreact, and we're not overreacting besides just one team.
I had him as a preseason top 25 team.
Yes,
that's what they looked like to me.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, they're a top 25 team. And I think that besides whatever the AP poll wants to put out, I just feel like Hugh Freeze woke up on Saturday morning, went to the office after he played a round of golf, and he was like, okay, I got this. I think we're going to
he said 3 Hail Marys.
Right, exactly. 3 Hail Marys, round of golf.
Dude, I don't know why this just hit me. I watched 3 episodes I watched the most recent season of Righteous Gemstones this week, and Baby Billy, I think Hugh Freeze is basically Baby Billy.
Absolutely.
And Baby Billy water skiing naked.
Yeah.
If there's a coach in the SEC that would water ski naked, it is absolutely Hugh Freeze. On a Saturday morning in Waco, Texas. Praise Jesus. Woo!
It's such a damn good show too. The Baby Billy.
So many good lines.
And then the crazy part is the first thing I think about when I see Baby Billy is I think of Sons of Anarchy. Same character is playing that. You know what I'm getting? It's so good. And I agree with you. If we had to line that up.
I mean, is Sam Pittman water skiing naked? Probably not.
I mean, whatever, dude. He's got that lake house, bro. He's got some private.
Brett Bielema might water ski naked.
My man, and he doesn't give a shit. Whatever.
So Auburn Tigers, as good as I told you on this show all summer, apparently.
Right. All right. Stop it. Okay.
Bama, we'll find out. Well, hey, look, we'll find out. The things I'm kind of tweaking on though here, in terms of changing my opinion, because I want to talk Virginia Tech Vanderbilt, as we already alluded to. Vanderbilt, by the way, they were in the lead of the Wing Wars in Middle Tennessee at ML Rose. So make sure you go check out ML Rose. Of course, 7 great locations all across Middle Tennessee, and order wings on Saturdays. You get a discount and show your SEC pride. So Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech, 6:30 Central Local Standard God's time.
Yep.
But I want to also the South Carolina performance. They have 2 or 3 elite players, as we expected. Stewart, Harbor, Sellers. Of course, it's only appropriate that a special teams touchdown decided the Beamer Bowl. But I want to ask you, was the I don't want to say lackluster, because I never really thought Virginia Tech was going to win the game.
Yeah.
But I thought Virginia Tech, the receivers made a bunch of plays on the outside. I think it's a bigger challenge for Vanderbilt than I expected.
Yeah,
they're favored by 1.5, 2 points, I think, going into that game. So I want to talk sort of the Vanderbilt game through the lens of South Carolina, because South Carolina is going to go 2-0, along with a bunch of other teams like LSU, Arkansas, Auburn. A lot of these teams have 2-0 written all over it.
Tennessee will go 2-0.
Yeah, and so I just am curious, like, was this more a function of neutral site, really emotional game against your father's famous sort of father's football program where you're putting a lot of pressure on it and the team is kind of pressing a little bit? Do you think that it's more, again, these are not excuses, but like context is important. Do you think that's more of what happened in this game? Or do you think Virginia Tech's that much better? Or do you think South Carolina, are you more concerned about South Carolina? Or do you kind of just write it off as this was an emotional, kind of weird, bizarre, one-off special situation? And you still figured out a way to win.
I think there was a lot of pressure on South Carolina because South Carolina players, and this is not an excuse, this is just reality. South Carolina players took it really personally for Shane in that game. So I think what you saw in the first half, I'm not saying that it went out there and it was a factor in every single play, but there's a reason why Lenoris gave the game ball to Frank after the game. Like, they understood the assignment in this one. For Virginia Tech, sorry, it doesn't matter to those players. It doesn't matter that Frank Beamer is on the sideline with Shane. Like, it just doesn't. They don't care.
Okay.
They don't. I don't think they.
It's not
these 18 to 21-year-old kids. I know that Frank Beamer has a.
It's not as close. It's not as close to your program, to your situation. It just means a lot more to Shane than it does to Brent Pry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I got you.
And I look at what Lenoris was able to do, and sure, at times he looked a little bit uncomfortable, but then he would come back and he'd hit a dagger down the field, and then, like you kind of mentioned too, with them being able to run the football at times too, and then but it comes down to special teams. Like, after Nick Arbor, muffed one, he comes back and takes it to the house, and I just think everything that thrown in, I think. Look, all teams are going to have their growing pains in the first week. I think with South Carolina, they were able to take advantage of it in the second half and settle down a little bit, sustain some drives. And so I'm not freaked out about anything from what I saw. Because
I did not see a playoff team, though.
Right. That is the interesting factor of this. I think that there is a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of room for growth. That's an easy thing to say. But I agree with you that it doesn't look like a playoff team right now. By the 6th or 7th week of the season, it could look like a playoff team. And we can say the same thing also. There was another game played the day before, and Tennessee's staunch defense, gives up 28, I think it was to Syracuse, 24-28 to Syracuse. So I mean, like you have to look at it through a lens here. And I think Did
you see a playoff team with Tennessee, or did you see a good team?
I'd see an 8-4, 9-3 team.
That's fair. So here's the difference. South Carolina will play South Carolina State, Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Kentucky. That they should be 5-0. Vanderbilt's feisty, but they're at home. South Carolina is.
Yeah.
They will go to LSU probably 5-0, and that will allow the other talented young pieces to fill in the gaps between Harbor, Stewart, and Sellers.
That's exactly
and
right.
That's sort of where that was kind of to me that was kind of the write-up theory, whatever, about South Carolina the whole year. They could grow into a playoff team, much like they did last year. Alabama certainly didn't look like a playoff team in that conversation. And what's interesting, the difference is Tennessee, of course, will play Georgia in 2 weeks, but they do go UAB, Mississippi State, Arkansas. That they could also be 5-1. I don't think Joey Aguilar was better than I expected. Certainly Nico was way worse.
Holy hell.
So Tennessee, but UCLA is really bad. Like,
that is a terrible football team. Like that.
Yeah,
I clicked the off button at the end of the first quarter. Like, it's bad.
And Tennessee fans, of course, like I don't love that my alma mater just is obsessed with like holding onto the most petty grudges of all time, and with no ability to understand irony in any way, shape, or form. Like, Nico's going to save our program. No, screw Nico. Lane Kiffin's going to save our program. Burn the building. Like, it's funny, but like, whatever. I thought Tennessee was better than I expected. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they were able to run the football. They got 3 running backs that can go at it. I think the offensive line, by the way, they were missing David Sanders, but he's a freshman. He's going to have to learn too. He's going to play. He'll be back, by the way. Like, his injury is nothing that it's going to keep him out 3 to 4 weeks. The problem with Tennessee right now is you lost Ricky Gibson. So your secondary is now coming down to Boo Carter. Gerard McCoy is still trying to come back. So defensive wise, there are going to be some teams that are going to pick on Tennessee in the secondary and see if they got enough dudes.
Well, tell me if this is a little bit. This might be an overreaction.
Okay.
The pass to Braylon Staley, like you're the long one.
Oh,
you're not going to get more than 2 or 3 of those in a big time game.
Agreed.
You're playing against Bama or Georgia or Florida or whatever. Even Oklahoma could be much better than we expect. I think Vanderbilt's pretty good. Those are like the 5 tough ones for Tennessee this year.
Yes.
You're only going to get a handful of those, 2 or 3. And I had no faith in Joe Milton to ever complete that pass. And I had slightly more, but not much faith in Nico to complete that pass. And he did it on the first try. And so I'll say, like, I'm not one of those guys who's going to be like, oh, Joey Aguilar's better than Nico, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm not that guy. And I think that's an overreaction. But you're not going to get too many of those passes in big games.
No.
And to be able to be accurate on one of your first cracks at that is a big deal. I'm not like Nico hit a few against Thornton last year. He hit a bunch of them, but like Milton missed them. The person who could do it in Heupel's offense was Hendon Hooker. And no one's been able to really do that consistently since then. So if he can consistently hit the open guy, I trust Heupel's offense to get the guy open.
And Joey, that pass, man, I mean, that was a beauty. And I looked and I watched it, I was like, oh shit. Okay. Like, okay, Staley getting that type of separation.
Yeah.
You know, can Mike Matthews start getting that type of separation? Can Brazil get that type of separation? Like what I'm getting at, we know that Joey can hit those passes, and at the same time, Joey can throw it 10 yards, you know, short, and it's intercepted.
I hear you.
Right. So, but for him to do that on that stage and at that point in the game, and see that you had separation down the field and do it anyway. Yeah, man, I give him props, and I get and we talked about it last week that they were going to do that 3 or 4 times in the first half. They were going to test them deep and try to build some confidence for Joey. What do? They built some confidence for Joey Aguilar. So I think a lot. I think they're going to they'll win this weekend against ETSU. They'll open up a little bit more on offense, but like I was told by a couple people, they didn't show much of anything against Syracuse. So the Georgia game is the one I have circled on the schedule.
Well, and we're not going to know about Georgia. They'll play Austin P, and sure they're going to look good in this week. They look great in week 1 against Marshall, but that's not a we don't really know what they are yet.
No.
A&M kind of like played with their food a little bit, but like they're a 30-point favorite this weekend. They're going to go 2-0. We don't really know much about A&M either, so I'm kind of holding off because A&M is going to play. Georgia and A&M both have huge games in week 3. A&M is going to go to Notre Dame. Georgia's going to go to Tennessee. Here's the only.
By the way, like UTSA is not like a pushover. Jeff and them know.
That's true. That's a good program. The Virginia Tech Vandy thing, I don't really have a lot of analysis. I don't think Drones was as great. I want to see what their secondary does against those receivers because Virginia Tech's receivers made a ton of plays. Running back was really nice. Like they had some nice pieces in space that South Carolina kind of struggled with. That's what I want to see from Vanderbilt's defense because I'm not worried about Pavia in the offense. I worry about the defense. So that'll be interesting. Really, the bottom line is like if Vanderbilt, you want to build on last year and you want to take this season a little bit more seriously the way you guys have been talking about it, this is a game you kind of need to go win and prove everybody that like all the stuff you've been saying is real. And if not, it doesn't mean it's a bad season. If you lose the game, you're an underdog on the road. It's a tough environment. It doesn't change anything, but it also means it's probably not a special season on West End. This is a big game, I feel like.
I want to throw this at you. Is this one of Clark Lee's biggest games at Vanderbilt? Because of what the win could do. You're not, and I know what happened for Virginia Tech and South Carolina, but I'm saying you went on the road last year, lost to Georgia State. Like, can you go to Virginia Tech? I'm not saying the win is going to.
Forgot about that Georgia State loss.
Right. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that going out to Virginia Tech is going to put them on some big.
You got to go.
But I'm saying that if you lose and go up there and lose by 14 points or something like that, like people are going to be like, oh, okay, Vanderbilt.
Well, I think your point, like they go to South Carolina and then they have Georgia State and Utah State at home before they go to Alabama and then LSU. So like you could see this unraveling if you lose to Virginia Tech and to South Carolina and to Alabama, and all of a sudden you're 3-3 and you got to play LSU, Missouri, Texas, Auburn. Like you could be looking at a 5-6 record going into the Tennessee game, which is not what you want.
Correct.
So I think it's a really big game to sort of define the program from like a what direction are you going standpoint.
Yes.
And if you were to win this game on the road as an underdog, I think it cements you. And I'll say the same thing about Kansas and Missouri here in just a second. But like you go on the road and win, I think it propels the program and it allows you to lose the games like South Carolina and Bama and nobody's really going to care. So
bingo.
That's kind of where I'm at. So I don't know if it's the biggest, but I think it's really important.
Right. But biggest was probably a stretch by me, and that's my apologies. But it's a very, very important game for Vanderbilt's future as a program, especially with the schedule that's coming up where you can grab 2 wins before you got to play Alabama again.
Is Bo Prabula the best football player the best quarterback you've ever seen?
My man.
In the history of defensive coordinators?
We're really going there, huh? He better protect himself because they don't have a backup quarterback. Like
Did you not hear the coordinator from Kansas?
Oh, I heard him. No. I heard him being a smart. No, I heard it.
You think he was being a smartass?
I
think he was being real, and I'm like, that sounds stupid.
Well, I mean, if you maybe he can go back and say he was being a smart ass, but at the same time, it's like, okay, do we want to go the stupid route? Like,
or is he making fun? Is he making fun of them because they beat Central Arkansas or whatever?
That's a big win over Central Arkansas, man. Especially when Sam Horn goes down. So no, look, whatever. I like Bo. I think Bo can be a very
looks like a Minecraft. It looks like a Minecraft character.
Absolutely, he does. Yes, and it's going to be very interesting to see what Eli Drinkwitz in Missouri can do with him. Because do you tell him, hey man, you need to chill out in those 15, 20-yard runs when the secondary is coming right at your head? So I don't know. I'm a little.
What year? Do you know what year the first game was played officially between these two?
Oh my, 1914.
1907.
Okay, well, I was off by 7 years, and I just guessed that. So.
But I think this can't be right. They played back to back. How about this? They played back to back days.
What?
In March of 1907, they played on 11th and the 12th. Those are the first two meetings. They would play back to back days. They would play the 3rd and 4th of February in 1909.
They pulled a Bishop. I mean, what is this? A Bishop Sycamore?
They played 4 times in like a week. In 1909,
they had a shitload of players that they had to get some time to. That's some JV, some under JV, some varsity. Like,
holy smokes!
I knew
this was old. I knew it was old, but damn.
Like, look, man, I understand this weekend's slate is not the best in the world, but man, we get some regional rivalries, which I'm going to love.
Vandy, Virginia Tech is a really good game. We have not touched about this, but Florida needs to go do playoff caliber things.
Against Alex Golish?
Against South Florida. That's a good South Florida team. Riding high, lots of press clippings, dominating Boise, taking control of the group of 5 conversation. That point spread went from like 21 down to 17.
Yes.
This is one of those where if the market is overcorrecting here, Florida needs to show everybody like, no, we're a playoff team, and we're at home, and we got the defense, and we got the first round quarterback. Like, let's go. But that stopping Byron Brown is going to be hard. But that's sort of I like the games this weekend. Is my point.
I do too. And by the way, whoever put together South Florida's schedule, God bless you, man, because South Florida goes to Miami next week. Like,
I know, it's wild.
Like, okay, Alex Golish, like, who the hell was putting this thing together? Like, okay, you start off with Boise, then you got Florida, then you got Miami. Like, okay,
I know we're
next? You gonna play Florida State? I mean, you'll make the tour.
I might as well. I know I'm bouncing all around here, but the Kansas Missouri thing is very similar to the Vandy Virginia Tech thing. Like, if Missouri as a 6-point favorite, 7-point favorite at home loses to its arch rival, playing in their rivalry for the first time, and what was the last time they played? They played in.
Oh, it was. Hold on. Damn.
That was basketball. I was looking at basketball. That can't be right. That whole thing was basketball.
Well, now it makes more damn sense. You're talking.
Yeah, it does make more sense, doesn't it?
In 5 days.
I'm such an idiot.
Good Lord. Okay. All right.
1891 first football game. 1891.
Okay, I was off by 27 years. All right, that's fine.
Yeah, they have not played since 2011, since Missouri left. That's what I thought. I thought they hadn't played it since they left. So this is going to be, for those that don't know, fantastic. But it is 2 programs sort of passing in the night. If Kansas wins,
absolutely it is.
If Kansas pulls an upset on the road as an underdog, and Jalen Daniels is the better quarterback, which is possible than Bo Prabula, you feel like Kansas is surging back to contention in the Big 12. Missouri is finally taking steps back from that 10-win season a couple years ago. If Missouri puts his foot down and wins, then maybe they're more of a challenger this year than we think.
Yeah.
Great rivalry, though. 2:30 kickoff, kind of one of the main games there in the conference. Going to be a lot of fun as well. We'll talk Michigan, Oklahoma here in just a second, but Ole Miss and Kentucky. Here's the one thing I want to add about Ole Miss and Kentucky, because we don't know much about Ole Miss yet.
Yeah.
60 plus points, whatever. I think he's going to run it up. I got Ole Miss minus the 10 because of what happened last year, costing them the playoff spot, knowing that Stoops is teetering. Kentucky did not inspire anything in week 1 against Toledo.
Albeit Kirk Ferentz ball. No.
That's a good Toledo team, but no excuses for that. I think Ole Miss goes up there and tries, and I don't know if it happens or not, but I think Ole Miss tries to run it up on Kentucky.
Yes, I think at the same time, you look at Austin Simmons, they're going to get him outside the pocket. Kentucky did nothing against Toledo that made me inspired that this is going to be a game on Saturday. But okay, let's see if Lane Kiffin can go out there and exploit Kentucky's defense. Like, Lane Kiffin has had this one circled on his schedule for a while, and he would love nothing more to put Stoops in the grave on this one.
I know the
shit out of him.
I know like the national college football fans looking at this schedule and not seeing what we had last weekend, right? But I mean, Ole Miss and Kentucky is a great conference game.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech Vandy is a totally awesome game. The Border War is a fantastic football game.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of other trash on the schedule this week, but Florida South Florida is a critical game for the playoff for both teams, which is wild to say.
Yep.
In-state rivalry right there, dynamic quarterbacks for both teams. And then that doesn't even include Michigan and Oklahoma. Sherrone Moore going back to his alma mater, the head coach at Michigan. And with a fantastically unknown at quarterback for both of these guys. Like Mateer was awesome last week, but I don't think that matters. Bryce Underwood was pretty good for a first-year freshman quarterback starting his first game.
Yep.
I think Michigan's defense is way better than what they did last week against New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is an ugly, low-scoring battle.
And this is not an offensive shootout.
Yeah.
I know Bryce Underwood's good. I know he's got talent. John Mateer, the same thing, but both of these guys didn't show anything. I'm talking about the teams, didn't show anything defensively that was going to stand out for them to be worth. They're not showing stunts. They're not showing any decoys. I think this one's, 21-17, something along those lines. Like
I like Michigan in the points, but I think Oklahoma could win outright. Like exactly like you're saying, like 2017 Oklahoma. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I think at the same time, like I know folks are looking at this like, oh, is this going to be a Bryce Underwood coming out party? No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a guy that shows flashes during the game, and he's going to get Oklahoma's defense a couple times. But at the same time, I think that John Mateer will do enough with Oklahoma. This to me just feels like I know all the hype going into this one, but at the same time, it feels like, it's going to be kind of like a slugfest. We got like Texas versus Ohio State.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. And then fourth quarter, it kind of breaks open a little bit. But it's going to be a badass atmosphere in Norman. Like, okay. Like
it's going to be a lot of fun.
You know what? Oklahoma goes home before, he serves his suspension. So.
I went out there doing, what year? This would have been when Lincoln Riley was a coordinator. Baker Mayfield was there. And I went out there. Bob Stoops still the head coach, and I went out there to do for Sirius XM like a camp tour. Yeah. And so we spent the day watching practice and kind of spent the day with in the facility with all the players and stuff. And I got to sit down and interview I think it was there was a safety. I can't remember. There's always like a dominant safety and middle linebacker for Oklahoma. And first of all, I really enjoyed Oklahoma City. Like that was my first time to Oklahoma City, and sort of.
Did you go by Did you go by the casino on the way down to Norman?
I'm not a casino guy. Like
I did.
I'm sure you did.
I got in the rental car, and I didn't even know the damn thing was there. I just saw it off the interstate, and I was like, okay, pull over.
The stale cigarette smoke, the no windows, and the carpeting from the '80s. It's just not my thing, dude. It's not my thing.
I went in there for 45 minutes. I took $40 out, and I played blackjack. And I knocked it out.
As I would teach my daughters, like, I'm not going to yuck your yum, my guy. Like, if you want to go do it, have fun, brother. Have fun.
It just look, if you see a casino on the side road, it's like driving through the state of Mississippi. If you see a casino on the side road, you stop and you play.
If you see a casino,
Dillingham.
If you see a casino floating in the river, you got to go play.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. I haven't even mentioned Arizona State, Mississippi State. That's a really big.
That's going to be fun.
It's only 6 points. Mississippi State. That's a huge. That's a potential marquee win for Jeff Lebby. No. Anyway, we're bouncing all over the place here. I'm just saying, I think the schedule's way better than people are giving it credit for here. So it should be a lot of fun. I got Oklahoma close, but I think Michigan plays really, really well. Bryce Underwood, here's the difference. John Mateer is at home and has more experience. I think that's the difference, ultimately.
Yes. I think at the end of the day I think that they win the game. And then
I
think also we come out of this thinking Bryce is going to be a pretty damn good quarterback, the same way that we think Arch is going to be a quarterback down the road.
Yeah, exactly right. So, I think that's about it. ML Rose, of course, make sure you check out one of those 7 great locations every Saturday during SEC, like during all Saturday. But go watch your favorite SEC team, show your SEC pride by eating some wings and contributing to the ML Rose SEC Wing Wars. Vanderbilt is winning, y'all. We cannot let that happen.
And they're going to win on Saturday night as well at Lane Stadium.
There you go.
I'm just telling you, they're going to win on Saturday. You're going to see a little bit of craziness on Saturday, by the way. It's like these little sleeper weekends that catch your ass out of nowhere. I promise you, it's coming.
Mississippi State wins that game. That is a marquee Lebby program defining building kind of game.
Yeah, what are they doing with the cowbells? Like it was little miniature cowbells.
Oh, yeah, they had 2 people behind the practice. Like, I don't think that's gonna do it.
No, good Lord, no. Even the speakers didn't do it. Like,
honestly, I felt so bad for those 2 graduate assistants, like just standing there shaking bells the whole time. And I'm like,
yes.
I kind of felt bad for Mississippi State fans having to do that every game.
They're just sitting there like this, but they had the little dingly ones. Like it wasn't even big. Like it was little dingly. I mean, they ordered them off Amazon. You know,
where can people find you?
God bless. Find me at outkick.com. Find me on social media, X, Twitter, or whatever, and even Instagram. At Trey Wallace _ should be another fun weekend. It's gonna be a crazy couple of weekends. Tennessee, Georgia next weekend. I think I'm gonna do that one, but Florida LSU is still on the. Well, I know A&M Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yeah.
I put in credentials to all 3. We'll
Vanderbilt, South Carolina. Like, let's throw out the records, man.
I know. I'm just saying, if something crazy happens, like South Florida beating Florida this weekend,
enjoy every single weekend because it goes way too fast. That's the lesson here.
Yes.
And come out and eat some wings at ML Rose. Make sure you follow and read and listen to all of Trey's work. Thank you, as always, my guy. For Trey Wallace, I'm Braden Gall. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. We will talk to you next week.